Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. You know, I thought it'd be really interesting to look at a chart. This is actually one of my classes in my university of Vedic Astrology, but I thought you might find it really interesting to see how I have deciphered how to find spirituality in a chart. And I know not very many people these days call to find out what's going on for me spiritually. Everyone wants to know, when am I going to meet somebody? When am I going to make money? It's not about what is my spirituality. But when I get somebody that wants to know that, I am thrilled because I know that finding our spirituality is actually the most important thing. That is why we're here. And to learn how we are divinely connected and find our eternal connection to all that is the divine. And I thought I might bring up a chart of somebody who I may not agree with everything that she did in this world, but she definitely dedicated her life to her spiritual cause and purpose. Did you know that Mother Teresa was born in a very well-to-do family? But what did she do? She gave it all up to go live with the people in poverty to help them. I don't know about you, but I don't have it in me to do that, but I wish I did, because that is a pretty dedicated spiritual woman. I don't care if you agree with her or not. The fact that she did that speaks volumes. So we'll use her chart as an example, but let me explain how I come up with this. But before I do that, let me remind everyone, I always have to remind everyone, sign up for my free newsletter. Go to my website, galacticcenter.org, and from there, sign up for my newsletter because you will get all of my predictions delivered to your email address every week, free. While you're there at Galactic Center, check out my Patreon page, all the things you receive and get. Really, I work really hard to give my Patreon people all I have. I do. And that's on my website. And the other thing is, if you want to know how your chart looks in terms of spirituality, you can find out all the details, plus get your daily predictions from my Galactic Planner. It does your chart, gives you predictions, answers anything you want to know about you and your future. Go to galacticplanner.com. And if you want to study with me, remember this whole dissertation came from my university. And I'm going to tell you how to search for spirituality in a chart and why. And in the university, which there are 40 videos of classes and information plus live classes every week. But in those 40 videos, one of them is on spirituality, and I use a plethora of other examples of gurus and saints, and even like Ram Dass, all these people, I use their charts, Paramahansa Yogananda, all these saints, and the same thing comes true. And what I have deciphered is this, that the moksha houses will be prominent. What are the moksha houses? And by the way, moksha means spiritual liberation from this world. And what I found is that the moksha houses and the dharma houses, the planets that rule those houses come together, or they're connected by one ruling a house going to one of those houses. So what are the moksha houses? The moksha houses are houses 4, 8, and 12. And they're relative to the water signs, such as the 4th sign is Cancer, it's water. The 8th sign is Scorpio, it's water. The 12th sign is Pisces, it's a water sign. And I also go into, in greater detail, and how I discovered that the reason why the moksha houses are water signs is because they deal with our feelings and our emotions. And I have discovered that in order to heal and heal your life spiritually, you have to feel. It's not like you just detach from this world and that's spirituality. You have to go into the feeling, the emotions, the senses to get a grip on what it is you need to change to grow spiritually, to have that enlightenment. No, it's not just letting go and being detached from this world. No, you've got to feel. You've got to be connected to the energy of love. And sometimes that's not easy. Well, many times it's not easy because you've got to get into the heart. And the 4th house, along with the 5th house, rule the heart. And actually, the 4th house is a moksha house, and the 5th house is a dharma house. So I'm telling you, you must have a connection. Well, for the most part, not everything in the chart is going to be connected in this way, but a lot of it is. Where you have planets that rule, and you got to know what planets rule, the signs they rule. So if you look at the signs on a house, the planet that rules that, if it goes to a moksha house or a dharma house, this is important. And it promotes someone's quest and yearning for spirituality. So the dharma houses are the inspiration houses. And they are houses 1, 5, and 9. And they're relative to the fire signs because Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, is fire. The 5th sign of the zodiac, which is Leo, is fire. And the 9th sign of the zodiac is Sagittarius, which is fire. So when you combine the Dharma, 1, 5, and 9, with the moksha houses, 4, 8, and 12, you get somebody that's really questing for their spirituality, for their truth, for advancement, spiritual enlightenment, moksha, which is spiritual liberation from this world, going on to the higher realms beyond this world. So let's just take a look at Mother Teresa's chart and see how this lines up, if it does line up. So here is Mother Teresa's chart. And as I said, her ascendant sits in Sagittarius, Dharma house, Dharma sign. So it's like, you know, she is very, very steeped in her beliefs. That's Sagittarius. So what rules Sagittarius? Now remember, the first house is a Dharma house, fire, Dharma. So Jupiter rules Sagittarius, which is on her first house. So it rules a Dharma house. But it goes to the 10th house, actually, which is her work and her career, okay? But it rules a Dharma house. Now, if we look at where Mercury is, which is right next to Jupiter, Mercury actually rules the 10th and the 7th. So we are looking at, this is her career. Her purpose is, well, Mercury, Jupiter. Teaching, wanting to teach, and it's spiritual. Both Jupiter is spiritual and Mercury is the teacher. And it's in Virgo, which is exalted. This woman's smart. She's really, really smart. But when we look, so that's her career objective. Let's go to Venus, because Venus is in a moksha house, which is the 8th house. And Venus happens to be in the sign of Cancer. Where does the moon go? So in other words, where does the ruler of the 8th house go? 8th house being moksha. It goes to the 5th house. The 5th house is Dharma. So you can see that her moon, ruler of the 8th going to the 5th, gives her this sense of searching for spirituality. Besides, they're even in the 5th house, which means she taught children. That's what the 5th house is, children. So there you have that connection of a moksha and a Dharma house. Now, let's go to Mars Sun, which all by themselves, they sit in the 9th house, which is Dharma. And this is her quest for teaching, for being able to teach. Spirituality, they're in Leo, so she is she's a leader. But if you'll notice, Mars rules the 12th house, which is a moksha house. And it goes to the 9th house, which is a dharma house, which I find so fascinating. So when you have, once again, this combination of a moksha house with the dharma house, and then the sun is ruler of the 9th and the 9th, which is a dharma house. And even when you look at Mars, Mars rules the 12th, moksha, but it also rules the 5th, which is dharma. So her Mars is her dharmic quest, and it's in the 9th house, which is a dharma house. I find this beautiful. And then even going to Venus, which, well, Venus in and of itself is in a moksha house, but the moon rules the moksha house and goes to the 5th house of Dharma. So you're going to find this over and over and over again with these people that dedicate their life to God. That's what you're going to find. And just by the fact that she does have Jupiter and Mercury in her 10th house, I mean, this is her job, to teach people. And Jupiter is that planet that deals with spirituality. It does rule a Dharma house, but it goes to the 10th house of her work and her career. And Mercury, ruler of the 10th, she was well known for what she did. She became very, very famous. So this is just a little taste of how I found to look at and better understand Dharma, which is really our life force, our inspiration and purpose, and moksha, which is spiritual liberation from the world. And when you have these combinations of these houses, you will find the person has a spiritual quest for something beyond this world. I also go into great lengths as to how a person has to feel in order to heal. And I don't mean you have to relive all the nightmares you went through in your life, not at all. But you have to accept them, because when people stay caught up with their fears, but most of all their resentments in life, when you stay caught up in that, you are never going to break free to spirituality. I don't care if you're a vegetarian. I don't care if you do everything right. If you have resentments, this is going to hold you back from your spiritual development and enlightenment and moksha. So that's just one thing. Some people think if I eat right, if I eat the right things, if I do all the mantras, if I do all the acts that will supposedly give me meditate hours, give me enlightenment, but you still have the resentments. That deals with the feeling body and the emotions. It has to dissolve. That's what it means to detach. Detach from the angers and the fears that our emotions and our bodies hold, because they breed nothing but disease and problems, and it makes you have to come back in many more lifetimes till you resolve the resentments that you have in this world. Because when you have a resentment, you're wanting someone to suffer the way you did. You're like, I want them to feel the way I did. Maybe you don't think about this consciously, and most of us don't, but there's something within you you're holding on to from the many hurts in your life. And until that's gone, you won't reach moksha. It's that simple. You have to feel to heal. And that's what I learned from the water houses and astrology with the moksha houses 4, 8, and 12. So with that, I hope I gave you a little taste of how you can see a chart in terms of your spirituality and healing and lessening the pains of this world by becoming enlightened, reaching moksha. So with that, I think I'll close. If you want to learn more about me or my university, go to my website, galacticcenter.org, or my university, University of Vedic Astrology.com. Thank you.